Hello, beautiful beings of light. Happy New Year. I think by the time I'm recording this on New Year's Eve, but I think by the time I'm able to edit it and post it and everything, it's probably going to be New Year's Day. So happy 2021. We made it. We made it through 2020, which, is our year of clear vision and seeing clearly many, many things. And now entering into 2021, we have so much work to do. There's a big sentiment here that I'm noticing is trending, and that is that people are very they're very what's the word I'm looking for? Anxious to just, snap their fingers and be rid of 2020 and move into 2021. And I find that a little bit comical and, at the same time, kind of sad that, the overarching collective sentiment about 2020 is that it was the year from hell, and, everyone would just as soon it be over and be done with it. Whereas I think, many of us coming from the perspective of, on the spiritual path and journey, have seen 2020 as a huge catalyst for growth and awakening. And especially coming from the perspective of tethering, we understand that there is a greater meaning and purpose to all of this. So I hope that everyone had a wonderful Christmas. I know I did. I'm actually talking to you now on one of my new Christmas gifts, which was a tripod. And I'm hoping going into 2021 that I will be able to, up my game a little bit on these videos and, the production of them. And, I'm new to all of this. I'm just learning how all of it works, but I'm enjoying it. And definitely you're going to see me, continue to try to, branch out into some other platforms and stuff too. I personally, from a personal perspective, am just trying to figure out, how to balance everything right now. I think, moving into 2021, organization and cleaning your layer of reality as we move into these energies is going to be extremely important. So right now I'm just taking some time to, organize my layer of reality, in the physical, like in my home and everything, but, also from a technology point of view, I'm trying to, Spirit's been asking me since about November to branch out onto different platforms. I mentioned in, I don't know if it was the last video or the video prior to that, kind of about the agenda with service to self and what, my team in Spirit calls the persuasion of percussion. And we are going to see that, continue to amp up. And with that, I think there's going to be a lot of shift and changes with our social media platform and technology in general. And so I'm really trying to keep up with all of that and try to organize, what I'm doing moving forward. And then I have the challenge, the added challenge of how do I use technology without getting too involved with it? Because I have this unique role as a channel. You have to stay clear in your channel, your energy channel. In order to remain a clear channel, you can't have your subconscious mind or even your conscious mind kind of with all these fragments of other people's thoughts, other people's energies, other people's prediction, like that type of thing, because then it doesn't allow the channel to be clear to receive the information that you're meant to receive. So I don't think, at least in this first quarter, I'm going to change anything about the way that I upload videos. I've just been uploading as I've been called to do that. Now, as we moved into the 11/11 portal, there were so many significant events the in the universe, so many happenings, that I was just being called to like move us through these shifts, which seemed, very important, as far as what spirit asked me to do. And that will continue to be, my guidepost is, whatever spirit asked me to get out as far as a transmission, that's what I will do. And so along those same lines, this transmission, I keep like trying to push myself. Like I'll receive these downloads, and then I'll try to like push myself in the other aspects of my life. I'm also a mother, and I'm homeschooling my son, and so I have a lot of other hats that I'm wearing at any given point in time. And I, am trying to, push these videos out, it seems like, and then they always end up being created at the exact right moment. So my intuition is telling me this will be published on New Year's Day of 2021. And I've been trying to make this video for several days. One of the things that's been a little bit tricky for me making this video is I received such a deluge of channeled information that I wasn't quite sure how to frame this. I said this before in my tethering video, and I will say this again, which is that I am not an expert. I'm a novice in many of these topics that I am speaking to you about. I am a student and a teacher at the same time. I do not know about, quantum mechanics, and I am not an expert and, versed in many different religions. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. So they'll lead me to this information, and they show me these visions, and I'm kind of like going on this like quest, trying to like piece it all together and integrate it into my own self before I feel comfortable, giving the message. The visions are clear and they're amazing, and I'm blown away when I'm receiving them. It's just, most of the time it's like it comes with a feeling and an understanding, like a clear cognizance. But then trying to articulate that into language, and one thing I am adept at is communication, and I'm articulate, and I'm well versed in words, and so half the time I think that's why, and I like to investigate things, I think that's why maybe they chose me to get some of these messages out, because I'm not afraid of investigating, and I am like, I do want to know, I'm like intensely curious, and I want to know the answers. So from that perspective, I'm probably the perfect person. But from the perspective of being like a physicist, no, that's not me at all. So, basically I gave a very in-depth, and you guys can go back and watch that, a very in-depth, video for the 2021 energies and moving into the age of Aquarius and moving into this new year. So, if you want like an overarching, energy report, I would definitely direct you to that video. This video is kind of like another addendum to where we're at. And the information that I channeled was very, it was just kind of mind blowing for me. So I was in meditation, and I came upon in the void a beautiful, which I intuited as a feminine energy, and it was a human form, but it was covered in this golden yellow woven tapestry, which looked to be, kind of Indian garment, but it was covering the head and the whole entire body. And as I kind of moved up to it, the veil was removed, and it was a lion's head. This lion's, this kind of scary, like bulging eyes, lion, the head of a lion, the body of a human form. And I was actually, frightened at first. And as I approached this, now, as I've told you before in meditation, I am just an energy. I'm not like my body when I'm receiving these. And I first was taken into like, what looks like stardust or neurons. Like they're the same thing. Inner space and outer space are the same thing. And as I approached the head of this lion, it turned to very like a gold. I forgot to mention that this lion's face was gold. It was made out of hard metal. It was made out of gold. And as I approached and I kind of swept up to it along this side, it changed, it morphed from gold to actual fur. And I could see the fur and see it kind of, moving in the breeze. And I flew up and up and up and into its ear. And at that point in time, this entity, told me that they were the ring bearer and the gatekeeper. And then I was given a bunch of visual schematics. And I came out of meditation and I was just like, wow, that was amazing. I typically am, making contact with Rhea. There's an angel in the angelic realm named Samuel that is personal to me, and the Terra group. But I've never made contact or had someone contact me in this manner before. So of course I am, telling my partner about this, and I'm like, this has to be someone. This has to be, someone known to the collective. I just felt that it was. Wasn't just like, an obscure, this was an actual something. And so I did some research, and sure enough, from the images I was shown, this is an entity called, and just bear with me because this is why I'm here filming here right now, because I have so many notes and I'm going to try to put this all together for you. So this is an entity, and he is called Lord, and I'm probably going to butcher this. So please, I am not trying to offend anyone. Like I said, I'm just a lay person doing my best to communicate in my language. So I apologize if I really mispronounce this in some way. But I believe that I was visited by Lord Narasimha. And that would be Narasimha. And again, he explained to me that he was the ring bearer. And when I did research on someone that was lion and human in form, I was able to read this story about Lord Narasimha, and he is one of the most powerful avatars of Lord Vishnu, who is the protector in the Hindu triad. And he is known to have, I believe, like 72 different forms. And in some of these forms, he is extremely, known to be very aggressive and angry. And in other forms, he's considered to be more docile, which there is a form that he appears in where he has Lakshmi on his lap. And I believe that I was visited by the form that was Lakshmi in female form and him in the male form kind of combined together, which is why I perceived him to initially be a female deity prior to the veil being removed. I believe that it was symbolic of this incarnation of Lord Narasimha, which appears with Lakshmi in a more kind of evolved form of him. And essentially the way the story goes is that he is the embodiment of good triumphing over evil. and that in the end, it is good that prevails. And there is a story that goes along with him where essentially he is able to take down, hold on, I'm going to pull this up because I want to make sure that I'm being respectful to people, and that, you know, this is extremely important to their religious beliefs. So just give me one moment. Okay, so Lord Narasimha was able to defeat, and again, I apologize if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, this demon named Hiranyakashipu that was given these powers of immortality, and essentially was, you know, terrorizing everything because he could not be killed, and he had these wishes granted where, you know, he was all powerful. He couldn't be killed inside or outside. He couldn't be killed by an animal or a human. And so Lord Narasimha, he was able to become animal and human, which hence the lion head and the human body. He was able to be on the threshold of a courtyard, both indoors and outdoors. And he appeared at twilight, which was neither day nor night. And so this was symbolic. This is so symbolic of these energies. And what they showed me, or what this deity showed me, is essentially we are straddling two realities right now, two completely different timelines that are splitting, you know, splitting off. You know, in these past videos, I've explained that we are at a choice point now, and a fork in the road. The other thing that I was shown in these schematics, and I'm going to try to put these images up here. So everything happens for a reason, and I don't know if you can see these earrings, but I purchased these earrings on the 23rd, and I just happened to be in an obscure store, and they were there, and these are the flower of life. In this channeling session, I was shown, and I will try to put these up, but this is basically what it looks like from a timeline perspective, and this X right here is us. Okay, so we're in this overlapping energy right now. And I was telling someone else this, I could really feel this when I went out to do last minute errands, and, you know, when I was spending time with people that I typically don't spend, you know, time with on an everyday basis around Christmas, is that everything had become extremely surreal. There was a detachment. There was a vast difference from the reality that I'm creating here in my home, and, you know, that I am emerging myself with when it comes to you beautiful beings of light and the coalition of the crystal heart, the material that I'm you know, emerged in online. It just is a different, I'm in a bubble. And that was the other thing that I was shown, which was these bubbles, which ultimately, so I was given this kind of like, that's you, and then this kind of pattern, along with a nucleus and a cell, which I now know to be what's called the egg of life, which is the precursor to the flower of life. And essentially, the overarching message is, we were meant, okay, in this game of pandemic, we've been placed into these bubbles, okay? We've been placed into these kind of these polarized bubbles where we are creating our own reality, and we've been, you know, forced to do that, you know, through social distancing and the way that society and reality at large has changed. But at the same time, we've expanded, okay, we've expanded our our realities because we have been able to search out and find others like us. And that has created these little reality bubbles kind of all over the place. And it has caused a extreme polarization. It's so much so that when you walk out into, the quote unquote real world or normal world, it seems like it's no longer real anymore. And, that was for a reason. Like everything is, that was for a purpose. So we are standing at this precipice where there are these two realities that are overlapping one another. And they are both spiraling, but they are both spiraling now in opposite directions. They continue to come on top of one another and weave around one another. But you will begin to notice, more and more that when you are moving through the quote unquote, real world, normal world, it will begin to feel more and more kind of surreal. And what they've explained to me was the reason for this, okay, was to create a nucleus. It was so you could ground in a new dominant resonant frequency, and your nucleus could then create a cell, okay, which then ultimately will begin to branch out into 2021 into this egg of life, which Drunvalo Melchizedek, I think that's right, talks about this egg of life as being the first 8 cells of a body, and these cells cannot be destroyed. They are eternal. And this egg of life, if you look up egg of life in sacred geometry, I was not familiar, is the precursor. It's the second stage before the flower of life, and it is the step prior to unity consciousness. Okay, unity consciousness is what's considered 5th dimensional consciousness. We are stepping into 4th dimensional consciousness. We are stepping into the egg of life, which is the precursor to the flower of life, which is the step before unity, which is 4th dimensional consciousness, where there is still polarity, where you still have ego. It just takes on a spiritual connotation. Okay, so this was all meant to happen for a reason and purpose, but we are straddling 2 worlds. Just like Lord Narasimha, we are straddling 2 worlds right now. We are in the halflight. Okay, and he gave me this message. Okay, so Lord Narasimha says, "In the half-light I appear, sitting alone and austere. There is a secret I hide, neither in nor outside. You, me. I am in all that you see and everything you do not. Real yet intangible, like the air or a thought." And I believe that he came to me to say that, right now we are straddling these 2 worlds. It does seem extremely polarized. We are in these bubbles. But now moving into 2021, we are going to start branching out. They have repeatedly shown me for the last 2 months that 2021 is going to be a year of creating anomaly. It is going to be, now that you've found your soul tribe, which will continue to come in, okay? This is going to be happening kind of simultaneously. You're going to be continuing to call in your soul tribe. You're going to be grounding in your dominant resonant frequency. You will still need your bubble. You will still need your hub, okay? You will still need your nucleus. But now we are going to start moving into this egg of life where we are going to be attaching our cells to other cells, okay? We are going to begin the new body, which is the new age of Aquarius, okay? It's just, when he said, "I am the ring bearer," what he showed me on this spiral is that we are just entering a new ring. We're just stepping through the threshold of a new ring. And with that, things are going to continue like I've said before, these templates are going to continue to crumble. Things are going to get crazy in the mirror. You will need your nucleus. You will need your bubble. You will need your cell. Okay? So that you know that you're safe in that. Okay? That is what's real. That is what's truly real. And that is the permanence that you can hold on to in a year that will feel very, ever changing. And that's the message I kind of have for this happy new year. It's going to be a year of anomaly. It's going to be a year of halflight. It is going to be a year where we are reaching out. And ultimately, it is going to be a year where good triumphs over evil. And, we're going to have to, just like he had to adopt a new method, or he had to become human and animal. He had to be inside and outside. It had to be day and night, right? He had to critically think and become something new. We are becoming something new. We are no longer playing in the old paradigms. They are gone. They are done. It is now time to create the rules of the game for us all. And that's exciting. And that is exciting. So as we move into these new energies, we just had this full moon, which was the last full moon of the decade, really and truly, depending on where you were at in the world, either late at night on the 29th or on the 30th. And that was in Cancer, and that was this huge emotional release. We were saying goodbye, and we really are saying goodbye, symbolically this evening to 2020, but also saying goodbye to the age of Pisces. We're saying goodbye to these old paradigms, these old belief systems. We are saying goodbye to the rules of the game as they were played, as we've always known them to be. This is a new paradigm. And this is a new paradigm shift, and it's going to get messy, and it's going to be in the half-light. And we are going to need to get creative as to how we're going to move through this first quarter. We need to clean up our layer of reality. We need to get organized. We need to get prepared, like I was a Girl Scout, always prepared, and that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like we are getting prepared. We've called in our soul tribe now, and, we have our nucleus. We've ground in these new dominant resonant frequencies. We are holding firm in them now. You should be able to go into these situations. And although it may feel surreal, or it may feel a little strange, or I think, what did I tell my friend the other day? And I think this is the official term. It might feel a little Twilight Zone-y, okay? And it does. You still can move through it. You can still move and kind of shape shift through anywhere you need to go now, because you are holding a new dominant resonant frequency. You have been working on your shadow tethers. You are, you are like, what is it? They keep showing me, like, I was playing this game with my son over the holiday. He got this new Lego Star Wars game, and we were playing it, and you have to like bungee onto something and, really grapple onto it, and we are tethering in that way. Like we're shooting for these new tethers, and we're going for these new expanded bandwidth. We are shedding the automaton within. That is the other big theme, which will continue on, and I've said is continuing on for the next 6 months, is, as we continue to shed the automaton within, we are going to be focusing on anomaly. Okay. And I'm so excited. I have so much to bring you by way of message and action step that we're going to be taking, to create anomaly. And, how are we going to change the grid, from a lack matrix to an abundance grid. Okay. Moving forward. And we're going to do that by creating anomaly. And we will be pushed into, it's like I said, we will be pushed into activism. And in order for that to happen, something has to happen first for there to be a reaction second. And we're going to see that. And we're going to see that big time here in the first 3 months of 2021. So get ready, hold on to your socks, get your layer of reality cleaned and organized, keep, in your bubble, as far as your dominant resonant frequency, continue to be that nucleus for your cell. Remember, we're still clearing out, ancestral karma and patterning, and continuing to help, the soul, your individual soul family. And then we are going to little by little begin creating this egg of life. All of these little cells are going to start, attaching, and we're going to move into that phase before the flower phase, before unity. And we're creating this new body. We're creating this new paradigm. And we need to let the things fall away that need to fall away. And, it's really important that we keep our eyes set to the future and continue to remember all of the wonderful things that are coming in, the new templates that are coming in. It's easy to get lost in it. I mean, that full moon for me was extremely crazy emotional release. These moon events, which typically I had been able to move through without much shift in my dominant resonant frequency, have been very intense for me. Just like the last, the lunar eclipse that we saw, my frequency was spot on. Wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas for me, feeling on top of the world. And then just like that, that full moon came in, and it was like this huge emotional release. I wanted to cry for no reason. And it was like, a lifetime's worth of emotion just coming to the surface. And these events, as we move forward and we shed these old tethers, we're going to need to say goodbye. So, take this evening, if you're watching this and you still are working on letting go and shedding, beliefs, take it to write it down, set them on fire if you need to, tear them up, whatever, bury them in your backyard, whatever you need to do to, finally say goodbye and let go to some of these old belief systems, because, it's going to be an exciting year. So love, light, and blessings to all of you. I hope this helps someone out there. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow and all that jazz. I'm super excited to, be coming forward now, making the shift, as I've told some of you, onto some of these new platforms. And we'll just have to take it step by step to see where we end up. But yeah, we're definitely going to be building foundations this year. So love, light, and blessings to all of you. Bye.